Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's been some time, it's been a while, it's been just under a year since I've last posted a video. And I'm coming back to you guys, probably not consistently, but I'm taking OTB chess a little bit more seriously. And I want to show you guys OTB games whenever they happen, maybe once a week, maybe. Yeah, so don't expect videos often, definitely not as much as before. But yeah, I won't be doing any kind of Road to 2000 or Road to 2400 kind of videos on chess.com. I did hit 2200 rapid. I'm at like 2250 right now. I have a peak of like 2300, 2325 or something like that. I won't be playing any rapid chess. I might play some here and there, but generally no, I will not be. I'll be focusing a lot more on my channel, posting over the board chess games, maybe doing some Puzzle Rush here and there, and then maybe once in a blue moon some rapid games. But yeah, it's good to post a video again. It's been some time away, just under a year. So yeah, without further ado, I played a chess tournament yesterday. I played 3 games. I'll be showing you 2 of the games. I can't show the third one because the notation was so wrong that I couldn't even write it down. I think I had just a really bad headache and I was taking wrong notes. So when I tried putting it into analysis, it didn't make any sense. So I'll be showing you 2 games. You can look to your right and see, it's these 2. So you can see if I won of them or not, but maybe just don't look to that side if you're interested to see if I won during the game. But yeah, these games are 25 minutes with 5-second delay. But yeah, hopefully you guys are happy to kind of see me again. I know it's been quite a long time, and if you're new to the channel and you have no idea what I'm talking about, just forget it. So yeah, here as you can see, I'm 1411. I'm hoping by the end of the year I can hit at least 1800. Off the back of this tournament that I did, I think I gained like 50 rating points or even 100. So it might not take that long because I am a 2300 rapid player. Over the board, 25-minute games, that should translate to hopefully 1800 USEF, maybe even 2000 at some point. Yeah, I think a lifelong goal will be to get a candidate master's title, but that's something that's years down the road. I might even name this video Road to, Candidate Master or something stupid like that. But that would be kind of a cool goal. But for now, it's just kind of incremental, improving my chess, improving my over the board skills. And yeah, so yeah, let's jump into the first game. I'm playing somebody by the name of Alomgir. I've played him before. As you can see here, I played him way back like a year ago. And I knew he used to play the Sicilian. I wondered if he continued, and he does. And I still play a Smith-Morra Gambit, so yeah, so it's e4, e5, c5, or sorry, it's not e4, e5, it's e4, c5. You gambit the pawn, and then you capture on c3 with the knight. He pushed e6, which is a completely normal system to play. I just developed my knight, and then he played h6, and I was like, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's a very good move. It's not one. I've played hundreds of Smith-Morra games in chess.com, lead chess over the board, and h6. This might be the first time I've ever seen h6. But it's not like a novelty. As high level players, grandmaster level players, as we're seeing in the candidates, they throw out novelties, and it's a good thing. I don't think this is good. But anyway, I just developed my bishop as normal. He develops his knight. I castle. He develops his knight, and developing your knight to f6, as many Sicilian players have learned, is not always the easiest thing to do against this Smith-Morra. It's actually kind of it's one of the main things you're not meant to do unless you really preemptively, prepare knight f6. So I push. He develops his knight here, and I develop my queen here. Ooh, maybe let's get the analysis board up. I knew this was a suboptimal move, but I know in the Smith-Morra, 9 times out of 10, you develop your queen to e2. Yeah, it's giving it just kind of a general good mark. And he notices his knight is essentially out of squares. It is out of squares because he pushed this h3 move, which did absolutely nothing for him. So he pushes f6, which as soon as I saw that, I was like, every Smith-Morra player loves seeing f6. Like it's beautiful. Like it opens up this diagonal. Not right now, obviously, but it's just not a good move. I developed my bishop, which I just knew was not a very good move, but I was like, couldn't hurt. I kind of had a feeling I was going to win this game, so I think I was a little bit. I wasn't putting my foot on the gas pedal as much as you guys will see. He takes with the pawn. I take with the knight, which is again suboptimal. And then he goes back with his knight. So his whole plan was to give him this square for his knight back. But I jump in with my knight, just making it so he can never castle again. This is one of the best moves. I think it also really likes, yeah, rook a to d1, which usually you usually do rook f to d1 and then rook a to c1 in the Smith-Morra, just to occupy the two kind of semi-open lines. If you asked me what the difference is between these two right now, I would not be able to give you a good answer. I would go here, but anyway, I jumped in with my knight. He moved his rook, and then, like I mentioned before, I went rook f to d1. Yeah, it says this is not as good. It wants rook, or I guess, yeah, rook a to d1, rook f to d1. You'd have to ask, like, I don't know, Dingley Wren, what's the difference between the two? I don't know. He jumps in with his knight, which is an inaccuracy, and yeah, I don't have the timestamps on this video, but I was at like 22, 23 minutes, and then he was at like 15 minutes. Like I was not spending much time in my moves. And then, you know, when I saw this move, I was like, okay, I could easily capture with the knight, help him develop, and, you know, he'll probably try and like do some, you know, cheeky little castle by hand sorted thing. Even this is not that bad of a move. It only makes the evaluation drop, not even by 1 point. And if I do this, he probably would capture with the, but yeah. But I was like, no thanks, I don't really want to capture that. I was thinking, oh, maybe I should move my knight, but calculated for another minute or two, and I just kind of, I saw the brilliant move. What? It gave this a brilliant move the other day. No way it gives it as an inaccuracy right now. I promise you, when I was putting this into the analysis board, it said knight b5 is a brilliant move. That's so crappy. Okay, fine. Well, it's a knight sacrifice. Obviously, I knew that. I was sacrificing my knight to trap the queen. That's so crappy. It gave me a brilliance last time. So dumb. Anyway, I shouldn't care so much about brilliance. So he took the knight. I went here, and you're probably thinking, wait, but he has this square. What do you mean you trapped his queen? But knight check, and all the squares are occupied, so he has to give up his queen. So he saw that, and he thought, okay, let me sack my knight in order to somehow get out of this, you know, precarious situation. And before even writing down his move or my move, I immediately went queen e5, which is an inaccuracy. It really wants you to just capture this, and then somehow, what does it want? Queen a5, yeah, to get the queen out. I mean, even here, this is still, what is it asking for here? Okay, I mean, fair enough. It's still pretty bad. But there was no way I was going to give up my pristine bishop for this knight. So I went queen e5, just maintaining pressure on this knight. I kind of half thought he was going to go here. Like, that was what I was fully expecting. But instead, he pushed e6, which is, yeah, that just 4 different pieces can capture that pawn. It's obviously defended 2 ways, but yeah, you guys don't even need to ask what piece. I did capture this pawn. Go ahead and just, you know, feel free to pause the video and see. I guess I shouldn't sound like you guys should all know. For, you know, people who are much lower rated, I don't think it's completely obvious what you should take with. Just go ahead and assume you shouldn't take with the queen, so you're left with 3 options. These 2 pieces are just like, to me, these are like 5-point bishop and knight. So I captured with the rook. I'm not going to do the, you know, I can't do Gotham chess's his Levy's voice. I'm not good enough at it. But I sacrificed the rook. Of course, if he takes with the bishop, which he didn't do, he moved back with his knight. And then, yeah, the evaluation bar obviously says mate in 7. I did not find the mate in 7. You have to like sack your rook. What else? Oh, right. Yeah, this. Yeah. But we'll see in a couple of moves that something pretty similar happened. I just captured the knight, and I was like, okay, I mean, like, I'm not too worried about this. And then he blundered mate in 2. Yeah. He brought his queen here. Yeah, just cheeky little mate in 2. Pretty simple game. I think by the end of it, I still had like 18 or 19 minutes on my clock, and he was down to like 10 minutes. So So yeah, I was playing pretty quickly. I was trying to play as quickly as I can. I've played this person before, and he's gotten the better of me, so I kind of saw this as a little bit of a revenge match. But yeah, good player nonetheless. Just, probably needs to update some of his Smith-Morra lines. And then I also played a game against oh no, don't look at that. I played a game against somebody by the name of Corey, 1700 rated player. Again, I'm still 1400 at this point, all in the same tournament. And he plays a Vienna. As soon as I saw him go knight c3, I literally sighed out loud. He looked at me. I was like, which you shouldn't do. You shouldn't give your opponent any indication that you don't like an opening, or you don't feel comfortable in a position. But yeah, I don't like facing the Vienna. But in order to combat a lot of the kind of main Vienna lines that people like to do, Vienna players like to do, I play the Bardeleben variation. This is called the Bardeleben variation. Kind of the idea is if they en passant, you capture like this, and you're pretty happy. I've analyzed this a good bit. It's minus 0.7, minus 0.6. And this is good. I think Vienna players kind of know what they play. Like a Vienna it's not like an unsound opening, but it's like right out the gate, the Vienna is like, you already see the evaluation not loving the Vienna, like just immediately. Like when they push, like the main thing within the Vienna, like one of the mainest lines, it's already showing favor for black. So I think a lot of Vienna players kind of know, like they're doing this for like the dynamic play and all sorts of stuff. But this variation, where they go en passant, like these positions are a lot of fun to play, I think, for both sides. Like there's a lot of play that you can have. Maybe not that move, but he did not do the end peasant and instead push this, which a lot of people do. I take, and then I push my pawn, which these are all kind of the best moves. It seems like he and I both know this. Then he went queen g3, which it seems like every person, when I play the Bardeleben variation, they always play queen g3, which is like funny to me. I don't know, bishop e2 seems so much more natural. I guess a lot of the reason is, you're giving up space for your knight, you're threatening all sorts of little annoying stuff. It's not really a threat, but I've definitely lost games in this variation where I just did not find a way to castle my king, which of course this queen is, it's exerting some pressure on the g7 pawn, so it doesn't make it easy to develop your bishop. I get it. I develop my bishop, he develops his, I develop my knight. He puts his bishop on an optimal square, though I thought maybe it's better for the knight. I will say the next like 10 moves from both my opponent and I, they're not the best. They're not very good. I take the bishop, which is kind of dumb, but like, why not? Develop my queen to d7. He castles, I castle. As you can see by every one of these moves, it's constantly showing like an accuracy, blunder, or a miss. It's not blunders, but obviously there's this pawn just like not hanging, but it was hanging earlier, but like it's, as you get higher in chess, like, just losing a pawn, like it's not the sort of thing that you need to really worry about, to be honest. You'll be able to capture pawns back, or get some kind of dynamic play that'll help your position. So we opposite side castle. This is going to be a fun game. Usually a lot of what the Bardeleben variation is about is usually you don't open up this line for your opponent, but kind of go here, here, here. You develop the bishop because, the king it reminds me for some reason of like the King's Gambit position where, they don't have an F pawn anymore and the king is a little bit weak. He develops his I guess rook on the A file to the B1 square, just to, exert some pressure here. He doesn't have a light squared bishop anymore to really, really exert pressure, but nonetheless, it does. I pushed h6, which is fully telegraphing my next like 4 or 5 moves. It's like bam, bam, bam. Just you get the rooks here and just destroy the king. He anticipates that. He puts his knight here, which it's a miss. Which I remember when I saw this move, I was like, oh, that to me feels like a high level move, because it's immediately exploiting this weakness 2 times, which it's only defended once, and it's very difficult to defend it twice. And if I push, bam, he just immediately gets a free pawn. So he exploits the weakness, all those lines. Chess.com really needs to fix that. So I do a little bit of a suboptimal move. I move my knight. He jumps his knight in, which I didn't think was a very good move. I take, he takes, and then I take this bishop. So the next few moves are all kind of in preparation for me to kind of solidify my position a bit. So take the knight, take the pawn, give a check, and then I defend this knight. Sorry, this pawn 2 ways. I just wanted my position to be just a little bit safer, even though I had to kind of trade down in a way that is probably not the best. And he played when he played it, I was like, ooh, that looks a little scary, but I don't think you actually have any threats with that. I thought it was a bit too soon. Like, I feel like he maybe, I don't know, he was always going to lose this pawn, but I feel like you need to push it at, a more optimal, like maybe a better, no, I guess you can't do that. But actually taking is pretty dangerous. Taking is kind of dangerous. What do you play here? C5, I guess, yeah, fair enough. But that's just another weakening of the position. So anyway, trade everything. Not everything, but most pieces. And then, yeah, rook h to f8. He pushes, I go queen here. He takes, I take. And he put his bishop there, which I didn't really think was the best move. Obviously, he's threatening mate, but I had a lot of ways I could kind of get. Could I do this? No, probably not, right? Can you take that? No. Oh, right, because you can just take with the queen and defend everything. But I didn't like the idea of defending that way, so I brought my queen to c6, another inaccuracy. But now my opponent, again, you guys don't have timestamps, so you don't have too much context for the time of the game, but my opponent started to spend a lot of time on his next few moves. He even spent a lot of time on his last few moves. Because I had a feeling he kind of thought his queen was going to get trapped because he put his bishop here. So he accurately went back to g3. And I played what, to me, looking back, is not a bad move, but a lot of you are probably thinking, bam, right here, just lined it up, threaten mate, but then he just goes queen e3, or sorry, queen f3. And I'm like, okay, I really don't have any kind of, and he's threatening mate here, or I mean, pretty close to mate. It's not immediately mating, you can get out, but it's scary and annoying. So I was like, okay, not really a point to going rook here. Obviously, it's nice to occupy, an open file and, whatever else, but I thought it was much more prudent for me to trade off this bishop. And he takes, and I take, and I thought this was really, really nice for me. I evaluated this as even. He goes rook here to kind of defend everything on the second rank, defend this pawn which was hanging. I go queen a4. I don't know if it's like the best move, but as you can see here, like the engine's just recommending a lot of different stuff. b6, yeah, just to make things a little bit calmer on the queen side. But I went here. He attacks my rook, and that's about all he does. I didn't really feel like this was a scary move at all. I know the engine is recommending I go here, but this just looked super depressing to me. It's just like both your rooks behind one pawn that are not even being hit more than once. And now I can't move either rook. Like if the queen just stays here, which is actually probably not a good idea because then I can, capture some pawns, but I just didn't, like, both of my rooks are just tied down to each other. I can't move either one. Like if I move this one, he takes this. If I move this one, he takes this. Like it's just bad. So I didn't like that idea. So I opened, I occupied the only open file, the E file. It's the only one that's fully open. And of course his king is pretty weak. So there's, some back rank ideas. The rooks aren't coordinated. The queen is far away. So you always have to kind of spot these sort of things. He went queen here, and then as soon as he played this, as soon as he played it and pressed the clock, he immediately sighed because he realized what my next move was going to be. It's just rook here, and I'm trading down, and I'm winning here. It's not some kind of crazy advantage, but he goes queen c1, and I was calculating here. So I think me and my opponent are pretty close on the clock, and then I burn like 6 or 7 minutes, which for a 25-minute game is a lot, obviously. I burned so much time trying to find some kind of back rank, like I take here, and then I take like here, and he can't take because of back rank, which, yeah, so I was like, I don't know what to do. So I was spending a lot of time. So maybe just take this pawn, maybe trade, and then take the, like, whatever. I just couldn't figure it out, like the best move. So of course, as many of you know, when Yonatan is provided with more than one option, he will ultimately pick the wrong one. I took this pawn, he took my rook. And a lot of people might think capturing towards the center is better, but the engine actually likes c takes, which is what I did. It looks a little scary because you're opening up your king a little bit, and there might be some checks in the future. Well, queen can't go there, but like if the here, and you know, like I don't know. There's a potential for different checks. I get it's a bit scary, but the engine actually I think really preferred you take, and I think you can just take the, yeah, this is a brilliant move because if he takes, there's back rank. Everything in me was like, just do this, but having been out of over the board chess for a while, I was like, let me not do anything too crazy. Let me just play a simple game. So I didn't do that. He took the pawn on f5, which I thought was a little, I was like, seems a little unsound, but I played the best move, queen e6, hitting the rook. He went all the way back, and then I just started pushing my pawn. Like I was just like, I have an outside pawn. This is the most dangerous pawn on the board. Let me push it. Of course, I know I can't really, you know, promote it because both of his pieces are there, and I have nothing defending that square. But you always have to pose a bunch of questions for your opponent. The more questions you pose, at some point they're going to get one of the answers wrong. So he created some luft, I think it is. He played h3. I kept pushing. I was like, I don't see a reason not to keep pushing. I went queen c6 just to defend this pawn, and you know, just like you always have to continue to think of attacks on the king. So like, you know, if I can come here and here and here, and now I'm attacking this pawn with I should probably actually say the, you know, move the, you know, pieces out loud, but you get my point. And then he went rook f6, which is, yeah, this should really just be a blunder. Like this is a blunder's mate. You give a rook check, he comes here. I give another check, he moves his pawn, and now the king is super weak. Yeah, analysis board announces mate. Okay, now it's back to -13. But to me, this position isn't like the easiest to play because like you can, like what I did is I repeated moves once because I wanted my rook on the higher level, sorry, the first rank. And then I went queen b8. King b8. I went king b8 just to make sure everything is all good. Just make sure everything is all good because, you know, there's some rook checks and it's nice to just kind of slide the king out of the way. Yeah, he went c4 and I was like, that's crazy. Like, that's a crazy. That's a crazy. And with this kind of a move, you just have to swallow your pride. Sorry, you don't have to swallow your pride, but you just have to calculate a little bit. You just go queen here and you just win the game. Like, you just simply win the game. There's not much he can do. He has to go back to f2 because you're threatening mate. And then from here, you can do all sorts of stuff. Like you can probably, I wonder if you can just push this pawn. Yeah, you can push this pawn because if he takes, it's mate. Like you can just, yeah, there's a lot you can do. So he, what did I do? I went here. Just like it's not the most optimal move, but it's of course, you know, threatening to win the queen. So he went rook f2. I pushed my pawn. He gave a check. I went to a7. And there's just not much here to beat, guys. This is yeah, the game's over, really. So I went queen e3. He went queen here. I took this pawn. He took this pawn. Yeah, and then the game was pretty much finished at that point, and he resigned here because the queen trade is inevitable. And then I queen this pawn, and the game's done. Even if he starts pushing these pawns down, it's, yeah, there's nothing. This game's over. So yeah, I won 2 games, both of which against high-rated opponents. I think I am quite under-leveled right now. Like, I'm sure they're probably thinking, like, this dude is not 1400. Yeah, I think in the next few weeks, hopefully in the next month or two, I'm hopefully able to get my rating up to 1700. I can't remember how much rating points you get with USCF games, but yeah, so won those 2 games. I did lose 1 game, which was funny enough to somebody who was lower rated than me, only by like 11 elo, but yeah, so my rating shouldn't go up too high. But yeah, it was nice to kind of jump back into over the board chess, and it's nice to see you guys all again. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Please leave a comment below. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.